This is APS rigging department showing you the Yale Whiplock whip for a line. So this is the basic concept of the Yale Whiplock that we'll be doing later on. It's a simple concept where you're going to have a line placed down. It's going to whip around itself. See here, the loops are actually pulled tight and about into the middle of the whip itself. You'll see that again once we do our full-size whip. So here's our line. Again, tools for this are just going to be your whipping twine, needle, lighter, and shears. We place our loop down and we start our wraps. You want to be about half of a line width down from the end that we burned, and starting your whip to hold your lower loop in place. You're going to put wraps right next to each other with no space. Moderate tension on the whole thing, applying even pressure, getting the wraps to line up nice and flat with no gaps between them. As you approach what you feel is comfortable for the number of wraps, you generally want about a line width of wraps. So if it's a ½ inch line, you want about a ½ inch worth of wraps. The loop that was sticking out in the end, you're going to take your line from your wraps, slide it through that loop, and pulling tight as shown previously with the blue line around my hand. That knot now will find its way into the middle of your wraps, and you'll be able to see it as you look closely. Give it a snug tight, and now you're ready to start the stitching part of the Yale Whiplock. Using the long end, which slid through the loop, we'll go through the first incision right at the base of where it comes out of the actual whip. And you want to go in 90 degrees directly across the other side without protruding through the whips themselves, but just above the last whip. You want to make sure you don't suck all of your line through, or else you'll have to start over. Your next insertion is going to be directly across, parallel with the line from your first exit. I use the line to establish an area in which to insert the needle. Again, it's going to go at the top of the last whip, directly across to the other side, so you end up with your two strands laying across, parallel with the actual line itself. Again, you're going to be going across. This one is a little bit more interesting. You actually will go in and you'll exit at 90 degrees. So you'll exit not on the same side as your first whiplock, but on the opposite side. So it'll come out at 90 degrees. Again, from there you'll go directly straight across to now make your third portion of the whiplock. Again, going all the way through to the other side. So now we have 3 sides done, evenly spaced. Your fourth one, again, directly straight across. And now your exit should be at the base of where your last whiplock was. It takes a little practice to get them to line up perfectly, but it's certainly easy to do and easy to master once you've had a little bit of practice. Now we've got 4 evenly spaced whiplocks all the way around, and we've got our 3 tails that we'll be trimming off and burning. Trim them fairly close to the actual whip itself, and we'll be burning just the little ends to lay them down flat. Again, using the lighter, holding the lighter with the blue part of the flame close to the whip and burning off those last little ends. They'll get warm and you can just touch each one to lay them down flat. And there's our whip.